We
Let's
love
get it
hip hop.
poppin', man.
Let's get it.
I think I want to play something from this Limitless album here. Downtown speaks to me. Let's go.
Hey.
That flow right there on that. Jesus Christ, bro. Deadly. So we are back. Another one right here. It's your boy Friday Ricky Dread. Back over here at the Visionary Arts Center. And yeah, man, I'm really, really excited to have this conversation with a very interesting individual that we got to... I got to get acquainted with through Instagram and a few different things that he's been doing. But before we get into it, I want to give a big salute to our sponsors. Big salute to our sponsor, Astro Pink. If you know, you know. Make sure to check them out on their website, myastropink.com, or you could check them out on Instagram, astro_pink scene. And also, this episode is brought to you by Sovereign Selections, right there, 70 Dundas Street East, right next to the Burrito Boys. Okay, that's right upstairs, right next to the Rock the House Barbershop. Okay, they're doing a whole bunch of different offers right now. They have a loyalty program going on. You can get, after the 10th order, you get something free. And they're also doing an offer for a free HQ. Make sure that you hit them up on their Instagram, Sovereign Selections. And make sure to tell them that the We Love Hip Hop Boys sent you. But I'm really happy to have this gentleman over here in the studio, man. You know, we did the freestyle before, and you know, one thing I was watching even when I seen you first pop up on the scene is from the Rolling Loud, but we'll get into it, right? So with no further ado, we have KEMDILO in the motherfucking building.
Yeah.
We love hip hop.
Yeah, make sure I get that girl's number, whoever did that voice note. Shit, really good.
So listen, fam, like I was saying, like the event there, it's Rolling Loud. I'm at Rolling Loud, right? I get I don't know how I got it, if I got tagged, but I'm seeing this performance outside, and you're there just killing it.
Yeah, man.
So what inspired you to do that in the first place, fam?
First and foremost, thank you very much, Friday, for having me.
Well, thanks for coming through.
You know, gotta say shout out to one of the best hip hop newscasts in the city of Toronto.
Thank you.
Always making sure, you know, you get the realest and most in-depth interviews and all the good shit that's happening in the city.
No, I appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, basically, I remember that night, I was literally like just laying down, and I was just thinking to myself, you know, all these amazing artists are at Rolling Loud right now, and I'm one of the best performers in the city. I feel like I am, and a lot of people tell me I am, and it's not even about people telling me, it's the way that the things that I see after I perform, after other artists perform, you can see the difference, and it's just like something that I really like am proud. You know, I can say I can be humble all I want, but I'm proud of, like, I'm confident in who I am and like how I do this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as you should be.
As I should be. So basically, I was like, okay, bet. You know, everybody's killing it, Rolling Loud. You know, they didn't accept like my submission, the stuff that I sent. Everybody's killing it. So I looked at the time slot. I saw WizKid about to be done at what, 9:30 or 10 o'clock around there. I'm like, I bet. I called up some friends. We pulled up. I pulled up all my speakers. I just bought some speakers from Long and McQuaid. I had a big one too. You know what I mean?
McQuaid.
You know, you got to invest in yourself. You know, if you're an artist, you got to invest in yourself. I got 2 mics always ready. I got a speaker always ready. You know, you got to be ready for that anytime. So I came up with the speaker. I even bought one of those like dollies, those grocery dollies.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yo, I ain't carrying that speaker. It's just too heavy. 40 pounds everywhere. Nah. So I pulled up with the speaker, and I remember feeling intimidated because there were cops everywhere. Like cops everywhere. Especially, this was the night after the shooting at Rolling Loud.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, yo, I'm pulling up at Rolling Loud with a big ass speaker. The night before there was a shooting, there's bare cops everywhere. Like, what am I doing? Like,
you're taking risks out there.
I'm taking risks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, in life, you know, if you don't take any risks, you don't get any rewards, right?
That's a fact.
So I pulled up. We found like the best spot at this little park area right next to the exit. And then we saw everybody exiting. And then at first it was a little bit, you know, that little butterfly feeling like, am I actually going to do this? Is this going to work out the way I want it to? So, I just played a track. Everyone was just passing by. And then after I was like, fuck it. If I don't start doing this, if I don't start making the way for myself and making the noise and where I want it to be, then it'll never happen, right?
Yeah, you gotta pull the trigger.
So what I did is, I plugged in that mic, started rapping the track, started off with one of my best tracks, Met Our Only Fans, and then everybody was like just vibing to that. So it's just a club hit. And then after that, I went to Rockin' With. When I went to Rockin' With, everybody was just like, who is this kid? Like, they're like, who the fuck you rockin' with? Who the fuck you? Those like, yo, you can't pass by me.
Yeah.
If I'm like, who the fuck you rockin' with? Who? You're like, yo, I fucking rockin' with this kid. He's outside. I just came from the hype. And it's the best part is like all the people there were there for music. So it wasn't like I was getting like a business crowd. It wasn't like I was getting like some kind of protest crowd. It was literally everyone was there for music.
And right in your demographic too.
Yeah, my demographic, all young, all like inspired artists, all people that wanted to be in that area, wanted to be there and hear music, new music, right? So that was a perfect crowd for that. And I just remember like me starting off. I was a little nervous. And then after that, the butterflies went away. And I'm basically like 40 minutes into performing.
40 minutes?
40 minutes in, like literally just going hard, 40 minutes straight. And then I remember like around that time, the crowd just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And people just started staying. And it was pretty, it was amazing because not only did the crowd stay, but like they actually became like so supportive, and they just wanted me to continue. And that itself made me see like, like these people really fuck with me, like, which I felt like they will, but I had to make sure that I see that for myself, You got to see the results, cause and effect, right? I definitely was surprised because how everyone says their songs are catchy? You say your song is catchy, right? I basically said the hook one time. I said the first sentence. I'll be like, we're getting busy on a Monday, you already know. And the next thing I know, I'm like, busy on a Tuesday. I put the mic at them. They're like, you already know.
They already know the hook.
I'm like, y'all don't even know me like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Probably like some people, like, 1/10 of the crowd knows me because, I've been doing my thing. But like, this is like, people from everywhere, Windsor, London. This was people from Ottawa, Montreal. This was the first
Detroit, all over the place.
This was the first Rolling Loud in Toronto, which I didn't even know was the first Rolling Loud. Yeah, I was like a little oblivious to that part, but it was even crazy. Like, when I was like, who the fuck you rock with? Who? Point the mic at them. They were like, who the fuck you rock with? Who? I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. I was like, met her on OnlyFans. Now I'm her only fan. I'm just like, whoa.
So let me ask you.
You know what I mean?
It seems like you're making it seem like this is your first show, fam.
No. That's my first show.
Yeah.
Man.
So like, you've performed before, and even from the one I was seeing in that video is you obviously have experience performing.
Yeah.
But the way that you were talking about just now, having the speaker and it seems premeditated. Were you planning to start doing like live street performances?
That was something I initially thought of. I felt like, I was very connected with the showcasing at venues, and I was always performing at a bunch of different shows, for fashion shows here, for some bars there, getting my name out there, putting in that work. And then after that, like I felt like how do I best test out my music to like when people come to see you, they come see you and they already know they're gonna hear these songs. But I want to perform in an environment where people don't know me and they don't know what song I'm going to perform. Yeah. So this way, all the people that's walking around, if they stop, I know that this song is the song that's going to be the most popular. Yeah. Right? So that really like, that itself, I do recommend for local artists to do that. Go outside to Dundas Square for an hour and play like your top 5 best tracks. Just keep playing them over and over, perform them, and see which one sticks to the audience the most. And that would be the track that you should push the most.
And also, it also gives you practice for your performances, 100%. And gets the jitters of performing in front of people out, right?
1000%. Right?
So let's go into your story even a little bit more, right? Like your name name KEMDILO Gold, right?
Yeah, KEMDILO, yeah.
And that's the name that came from two of your grandparents' names put together?
Yeah.
Explain that.
Well, basically, I was born in Haiti, and I remember my mom they wanted a daughter because they already had two guys. So it's pretty funny.
No more boys.
They're like, no more boys. And I remember being, it was a village I used to live at. It's called Delmont 32.
Okay.
And that's in Haiti. Barely have electricity, barely have lights. We used to walk to the lake to get water. This is how it is in some parts of Haiti.
Yeah.
And it's like so they wanted a girl, and I came out, I was like, nah, you gotta try again. But the blessing is they gave me an amazing name, KEMDILO. KEMDILO. And that name itself has always been like the number one power that I had.
Yeah.
I remember living in America, and people used to make fun of me because I had a name so weird. And they're like, yo, KEMDILO, or they used to like come up with the dumbest fucking I don't give a fuck anymore. Now I don't give a fuck. You call me KEMDILO, I'm like, I'm in your girl. That's why you calling me that. You know what I mean? I'll put some little swag to that.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, they gave me that name, and I'm super proud that I got it. And
you added the gold.
And I added the gold. I felt like there was a lot of gold in Haiti. I felt like there was a lot of when you tell someone gold, they always felt like it was number one, right? And my name, the gold, is an abbreviation as well for Genius Outlook Locating Dimensions.
Genius Outlook Locating Dimensions.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I want some in-depth shit. And what I mean by that is like, I feel as an artist, every time you tap into a new track, every time you tap into a new instrumental, you feel like you're going into a different dimension.
Yes.
Like when you hop into a trap instrumental, you feel like you're going into that world where it's like, you feel like you're going into a world. And as a true artist, music is a world in itself. And, it's beautiful when you can like tap into those. So
definitely
the outlooks that I have on these different worlds is on a genius level because I've been doing this. So
yeah,
I'm on my Kanye shit, but I don't know what Kanye's doing nowadays, but still shout out to the greatest,
Well, listen, man, you've been able to move around and learn a lot, right? Like you first started in Haiti.
Yeah.
Let's start with there, right?
Yeah, I was born in Haiti.
Born in Haiti. And how long did you stay in Haiti before leaving? Like
I was there until I was 4 years old, 4 or 5.
Right.
I remember my mom sending me a cassette telling me, hey, like I'm sending someone to come get you.
Yeah.
And this is like, I'm like 4 or 5 years old and I'm playing a cassette. And I'm listening to this. I'm like, that's my mom. She left like 2 years ago, and my brother, my oldest brother, and my dad, they got a visa in America, which lasted only 3 years.
Yeah.
So after that, they were living there illegally, but we'll get to that later. So yeah, I was running around the village saying, yo, my mom's gonna get me. Mom's gonna come get me. And then after that, I thought she was actually gonna come, but it was this random guy that comes, and he's like, so listen up. You gotta pretend like I'm your dad. And I'm like, yo, what do you mean? You gotta pretend like I'm your dad.
Yeah.
So,
shout out to our sponsors, Astro Pink, always coming with that loud. Check them out on their website, myastropink.com, or you can hit them up on Instagram at astro_pink. If you know, you know.
he's like, okay, so these are the words you're gonna say when we get to the airport. You're gonna say, leave me alone. And that's all you got to keep saying. Because when you get to the airport, they ask you, what's your name? And so what they did to get me across the border, this guy, is they used my cousin's passport, which is a year younger than me. So he was like a fresh newborn and everything, a young kid. They used his passport to get me back into America, to get me to America from Haiti to Philly. So I remember being on the plane and I'm next to this random guy and I don't know what's happening and I'm like unsure of like I'm unsure where I'm going, but I know like my mom said she's gonna come get me, so I was a little bit like, like, okay, maybe this is where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then I remember landing in Philly, North Philly, and basically going to the van. And then my parents were there, my mom was there, and my auntie. And my auntie never knew I was coming. and my parents were living with my auntie at the time.
Yeah.
She never knew I was coming, and they used her son's passport too.
Oh, that's crazy. It was her.
Yeah. So even my dad, I don't even think my dad knew too. So my mom, I remember my mom told me she spent $5,000.
Damn.
Like back in the days, that was a lot of money.
Yeah, that's like fucking 15 back in the days.
Back in the days,
Yeah.
So she spent $5,000 to get to the smuggler just to get me into the country. And so it's a blessing. You know, I was the second one out of the family to go into second sibling out of the family to get into this America. And then we had to get my sister in, and she got in through an adoption. We knew this lady. She was very nice. And then she got my sister through adoption. She adopted her. And then after that, she passed her on. And then my other older brother, which makes most of my beats, 10 digits. He actually got through, I don't even know how he got through. He got through for some, like, I think he came mistakenly. They found a way to get him in. And then after that, they sent him into an orphanage.
That's crazy.
So literally, I remember my parents going to the orphanage and saying, like, we want this kid, right? And then I remember the people that the caretakers that they came to the house, and I remember my parents were like buying a bunk bed. I'm like, why are you buying a bunk bed? They're like, your brother's gonna come. I'm like, what do you mean my brother's gonna come? And they're like, we gotta buy a bunk bed. And we were in a 2-bedroom apartment in Florida.
Yeah.
You know, we just moved to Florida, 2-bedroom apartment. And they're like, we got to buy a bunk bed because your brother's coming and we need the place super clean because the caretaker's going to come and check out the place. Remember, the place is the cleanest it's ever been. Lady comes there, she's looking around. She's like, okay, he has a place to sleep. You know, you guys are Haitian. He's Haitian. It looks good enough. Da da da. And then we were waiting until we got the okay. We finally got the okay. And I remember this day, like, you know, like it was yesterday. I remember I was like probably like 6, 7 years old. My sister was there. My oldest brother was there, just my older brother. So I remember this guy walked through the door, and, you know, he was the guy that was like chilling with me back in Haiti with my sister.
Yeah.
You know, so I was really close to him. I remember when he came through the door, I was crying like crazy.
Because you just knew what was next.
I knew who that was.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I haven't seen you in 2 years. You were taking care of me.
Yeah.
So it was just amazing, you know, like that itself was a blessing. But, you know, that was just the first chapter of the story.
That's a dope story, man.
Yeah, man.
And your parents, your mom was a musician, your dad a pastor.
Yeah.
Right? So y'all grew up in the church.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so tell me what that was like growing up in the church. And actually, before we do that, let's go back a little bit, because there must have been a culture shock first moving here.
Culture shock itself.
Especially like you went from Philly to Florida.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It must have been like a little bit of an adjustment period.
Well, it was surprising seeing snow for the first time. I'll tell you that much. I still remember that when I was a kid. Being in Florida was nice. It was super nice. I remember I used to walk to school all the time, and I was second grade, third grade. I used to walk to school, and I was just a youngin', but, you know, like Haitian parents, they used to walk to school when they were like probably like 3 or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and they used to walk really far. So my parents was like, you walking to school, that's 40 minutes, that's nothing, you walking, you know what I mean? So the discipline was always there. Everything was okay. I mean, I was like 5 years old, so it was easy for me to assimilate into like the culture and everything.
Yeah. So, you know, you start going to school from in Florida, or when did you go back to Philly after?
I started in Philly. And then I was in preschool, and then I went to Florida for like first grade and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So what was high school life like for you?
High school was cool. High school was a little bit crazy. I remember going to high school, middle school in Philly, and, you know, shit was crazy out there. I went to, I think it was Edmonds Middle School, St. Edmonds Middle School. And they used to have guns that came in there all the time. Like in Philadelphia, yo, they don't play, yo. It's just be crazy out there. And, you know, it was just like, I just think I'm very lucky. There was multiple times I could have got jumped. There's multiple times I could have got robbed. You know, there's a lot of people that lose their kids out there. I remember one time there was a kid that ran to our door. So we live close to the middle school. And I remember this one time, this kid was getting jumped, right? And then there's like at least like 15 people just running after this kid. This kid ran to the door. We had a big house. This kid ran to the door, banging on the door. Let me in, let me in. My mom opened the window. She was like, nah. She was like, nah, because she sees 15 people behind them.
Yeah.
And she's like, yo, I can't get involved in this. And then like, because she already knew Philly was dangerous. Like you can't, even if she let them in, like these guys were going to find a way to come in.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like that, like that's how cold it is out there. And it's just crazy because, you know, when you grow up in that environment, you know, growing up in Haiti, then growing up in Philly, Florida, places where the crime rate is like super high, you always like feel like you're always watching your back.
Yeah.
You know, so that's something that like that never goes away. You know, like even like going anywhere, I feel like I gotta like look 4 times, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like you don't seem like the type who was a roadman like that, just from just my interacting with you a few times, right?
Yeah.
How was it that you stayed away from the fuckery and the drama that was out there?
Well, you know, God bless. Music was one of the biggest impacts. I was into sports as well. I played football when I was 13, 12. So I was playing for the community park, playing against other parks. That was a thing. And then I was playing basketball as well. And then, you know, I started making music when I was around like 10 years old, 11 years old. My brother would make beats in the basement. And I used to be like a big poet. I used to write poetry. So, my brother was like, yo, you should write to this stuff. And I was like, okay, started writing to some stuff and I found a passion for it. And then like, you know, that really kept me inside, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kept me in that.
So even when you started like making music and stuff like that, who were you listening to?
When I started making music, who was I listening to? 50 Cent.
50, eh?
50 Cent. Everybody was bumping 50 Cent. That was his time. And 50 Cent is timeless, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was his time. 50 Cent, Pharrell, 100%. Lil Wayne, come on. I'm really.
Yeah.
Come on. If you didn't know the Carter 1, Carter 2, Carter 3, if Carter 4, like when everything came out, Lil Wayne was goated, you know what I mean? I remember Jay-Z. I used to listen to Jay-Z a lot. The Blueprint.
Okay.
The Blueprint was very big for me. Lupe Fiasco was a very big one for me too.
Yeah, Superstar, Kick Push.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Blueprint. I know what you like. And those were the guys that inspired my hooks. You know, a lot of people now, they're inspired by all these other artists, but nah, man, Pharrell, Lupe, Kanye West too, 100%.
Yeah.
You know, without a doubt. But like 50 Cent, Jay-Z, and Pharrell were the ones that inspired my hooks.
Okay.
Like, when you heard a 50 Cent hook, you knew.
I know you don't love me.
You knew.
Yeah.
I was just like, yo, you know, like, who the fuck you rocking with? You know. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, man. That's dope, man. And even with you growing up in the church, right?
Yeah.
Once you started making music, that's secular music. Did you start making secular music or did you start with church music first?
When I started making music, I would make music to the music I would listen to. Church music was something that I would sing. Like, I remember when I was 5, I would do, that was like when I was young, when I was 5 to like 6, I would sing in church.
Yeah.
As a solo singer. So I was always like a performer itself. But after those times, 10 years old, I started playing instruments. So I play 5 instruments. My mom taught me 4 of them. I learned trumpet in school. So I played guitar, bass, drums, piano, all that shit. But I wasn't really like singing or anything like that. I was mostly like playing drums. So when it came to writing, I would just be writing like how would 50 Cent write, how would like these guys write.
Yeah.
Even though like I haven't like experienced their lifestyle, I just wanted to tell certain stories, or even how like Pharrell would write, you know what I mean? The vibes, the good vibes, you know what I mean? Or how Lupe would writing a story. You know, I'm big into stories, so you know that's my thing.
Yeah. Well, even with the fact that you're starting to create secular music, how did your parents feel about that?
My parents, obviously, you know, with the background and the way that they are, with their way that they're focused and everything. Thank you. They've always one second. They've always been a big support, you know.
Because I know a lot of times when it comes to people who grew up in the church, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, come on, you're making this kind of music
Yeah,
now?
of course. You know, obviously I hear that all the time, but you know, my parents want what I want, and especially when it comes to me pursuing my passion. You know, obviously they won't be playing it to any of their friends.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be playing Better on OnlyFans.
Better on OnlyFans,
They're
right?
not gonna be playing Better on OnlyFans, especially the video. But you know, but my parents still support me. I got a video called Get Busy, and it's super explicit. But my mom always tells me that's one of your best videos. It's like, but she still sees the artwork, you know?
Yeah.
And my mom even makes music. She has like 200,000 followers on TikTok. So, you know, like, yeah, no, she's killing it.
Your mom's
But
lit.
She's lit.
Yeah.
She even directs and edits her own films. So, you know, my family itself is already a musical family.
Yeah, everybody in your family makes music.
Everybody in family makes music. My sister, she's writing with Nelly right now. She's a big singer. Won Honey Jam. I don't know if it was second place or third. I'm not sure, but she's been doing her thing. A bunch of people know her, Charmy. So big ups to her. You know, that's my ride or die. My brother makes beats, you know, working right now in Atlanta with a bunch of artists, YSL, all of them, you know what I mean? Hustle Gang. So,
Yeah. No, that's dope, man. And I want to give you one word,
yeah.
and I want you to tell me what comes to mind when I give you that word.
Yeah, go ahead.
Goku.
This episode is brought to you by Sovereign Selections, 70 Dundas Street on the second floor next to the Burrito Boys. All right. You know, big up to them. They're actually right next to the Rock the House Barbershop. You can see their shop right there. And they got a mad selection. Toronto's only Aboriginal dispensary that specializes in quads and super quads. Okay. There's a promotion going on right now. When you spend $100, you get a free HQ, and they have a loyalty program. When you buy, like, on your 10th purchase of flour, you get a free purchase. All right. So hit them up on their Instagram, Sovereign Selections. And like I said, 70 Dundas Street East, second floor, beside the Burrito Boys.
Yo, you're killing me, bro. It was crazy because I actually brought these, and I didn't even think that. I didn't even think you would ask me about that. I think you've seen my anime sleeve on my arm.
I do my work out here, yo.
Let me pull this shit out real quick.
I know. I'm actually now catching the play on the anime sleeves on your arm, too.
You see that shit? Where's the camera at?
Right there.
Right there, yo. If you know what this is, you goated. I brought the sensu beans to the interview. You know what I mean? I had to let them know. I actually take one of these every day before I start spitting some bars. You know, they rejuvenate my soul from all these hating ass motherfuckers out there. Nah, I'm joking. Shout out to everybody. You know what I mean? We're keeping it in love and peace, but. Seriously, man. Anime was actually a big inspiration for me. These are actually the original bag for sensu beans.
Okay.
So I'm bringing the sensu beans to the interview. Shout out Friday for letting me do this because it's mad love, you know? Like I'm saying though, anime was a big inspiration for me. I think, like, you know, when it comes to energy wise, mentality, and in terms of, like, you know, being creative, there's nothing is more creative than anime. So that itself brought a lot of that understanding that you could be yourself to the greatest potential. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I fuck with that too.
And you know, when did you move to Toronto?
When I moved to Toronto, so the story's crazy, man. So basically, I remember my brother went to go get his green card when we were in Philly. And then after they found out that he had the same last name as my dad and that we were living illegal there for 7 years. 7 years in Philly. So we were in there for 10 years total. And then they found out that he had the same last name 2 days after. So they locked up my brother in jail, my oldest brother. They came for my dad 2 days after. They put a tracker on his foot. And then after that, they gave us 2 weeks to sell our house. 2 weeks to sell our house, then deport us to Haiti. And then we really had no choice but to come up to North. I remember my mom going to the fucking to immigration and pretending like she had something wrong with her head. She had 5 surgeries in the brain. Thank God she's okay. But she pretended like something was wrong with her so they can let go of my dad. They didn't want anyone dying in there. So they let go of my dad. And then after that, And then after that, my dad's an electrician, so he found a way to block the tracker on his foot.
What?
I know. I was like a pastor. I was like, yo, how? Like, you know, if you need the plugs to block the tracker, I got you. You know,
That's crazy.
And hopefully the FBI ain't watching, but anyways. I remember a van came and we all hopped in the van. I got dropped at the border with all my family. My brother had to get left behind because he was in prison for like 3 months, and it was crazy, you know. And yeah, I basically ran across the border. I lived in Montreal for 4 years, and that was nice. That's where I learned French a little bit too. So I got that little French swag.
Mm-hmm. And then you already have the Creole base, so it makes it easy. Right?
Easy, super easy. And then after that, when I was like around 18 years old, I came to Toronto, and I've been here ever since, you know.
Okay. And while you started living here in Toronto, you started picking up odd jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You were a server or a waiter or something?
Yeah, I started off serving, started bartending. It's funny because I actually bartended for Drake for 3 years. Yeah, which is where I got like all my connects, where I met a lot of good people. And, you know, it's just funny because, you know, when you're bartending for one of the biggest people in the city, in Canada, pretty much, you know, the amount of stuff you see him do and you learn from him is basically, and the energy that you get from him is something that kind of like, you know, you get to learn and manifest them within your own self. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You got to be around certain people to understand how they move. Yeah. So it was great. You know, he's a great person, very humble, very cool. I remember the one day he came through. This was like Pick 6 near Wellington. I was bartending there. Mm-hmm. There was like 3 staff members there, and then I was like, everything was shut down. Nobody was in there anymore. He came through. His big ass security guard came through. He came through with a fine ass shawty. I don't remember her name, but shawty was looking crazy.
He probably doesn't either.
That's probably one of the women that he got the engagement ring for.
Salute to the boy.
Salute to the boy. Yeah, and then after that, he's a real one. You know, I whipped him up a quick drink. Mm-hmm. And I told him, yo, I make music. And he literally he's like, yo, I'll give you my email right now. And he literally, I put on my phone, he gave me his email.
He said he's gonna sign you.
Yo, he had Chubbs. He had Chubbs on FaceTime, and then he had me on his arm, and he was like, yo, I'm gonna sign this kid. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if he was like, I don't know if the drink was kicking, or I don't know if he was just like vibing, and you know, he has a lot of people that ask him to sign him. So I just wanted him to listen to my music and give me some feedback. You know, getting feedback is always going to be the best, you know, especially growing as an artist. And honestly, I really, really feel like back then I was not ready.
Okay. That's good self-awareness.
Yeah, that's great self-awareness. Because the thing is that, like, you know, the where I'm at now and the growth that I have, the way that my music sounds now, the lane that I've gone through and the stuff that I've gone through to get here, I honestly think I wasn't ready back then. So now it's without a doubt, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I met some great people around him. Chubbs is a great individual. I've been around his family, you know. R.I.P. Mark, great individual. I was talking to an incredible director, Ron Diaz, about that. Mm-hmm. She definitely check out the short film, feature film, Bite of Mango by Ron Diaz. Crazy, amazing film. You know, showing like the in-depth part about Scarborough. So definitely check that out, Bite of a Mango. But anyways, yeah, we're talking about Mark and, you know, how great of a person he was. He worked there as well at Pick 6. Yeah. And he was Chubb's cousin. And you know, and the impact that had on the family, on the OVO team was crazy. You know, him passing away at such a young age. R.I.P. And R.I.P. And he was a very great individual. I remember talking to him the day before, and like certain things like that. You know, it really reminds you that, you know, life is very short. Like even like 2 weeks ago, like I hit up my dad. And I asked my dad, I'm like, yo, I hit him up randomly. And he's like, yo, I'm in Haiti. I'm like, what are you doing in Haiti? He's like, yo, I came here for my sister, like my aunt's funeral. Like, you know, I was like, oh, snap, she passed away. And she was like, yeah, she passed away. And she passed away a day after she was supposed to have her son's funeral, which passed away as well 2 weeks ago. Wow. So literally I lost 2 family members this year. And this month itself, or
Yeah.
a month in the span, and it just really it really hits you differently, you know, when you have someone that's like that close to you. And you know, he has such an amazing family. Like the people that was like, I went back to Chubb's crib, the people that were there, the way that they were, like, you know, the way that they were so humble, so pure, like the lavish life, whatever, the way that people see people with money isn't the way that they really are. Like these people are just regular people, you know, just trying to go through life. They still have daily problems. They still have to get groceries. They still have to go and take a shower. They still have to do everything that we do. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they gotta, you know, take care of their kids. You know, they gotta deal with stress, deal with taxes, deal with all that stuff. So, you know what I mean? So, you know, the life that you live right now might even be better. So don't ever think that, you know, having a lot of money is gonna make it better. It's not. It's not.
No, that's real talk. And even from being around that crew, right, the OVO squad.
Yeah.
And even Drake himself.
Yeah. What's
one thing that you have taken from that you learned that you still hold to today?
Hold to today, his confidence. I think the way that Drake shows his confidence is as silent as like I don't even know how to describe this, bro. It's silent as the night. Oh fuck, God, that's the worst one, but whatever. Basically, like, he can be in the room and you can feel such a positive energy, but every time he moves, you know, the confidence there's never a short of amount of it. You know what I mean? And that itself really taught me that no matter how great I get, no matter how big I get, you know, I should always have that open air to hear people out, and actually take them to at the level that everyone should be taken, but also have the confidence to know that I am who I am, and no one else can be better than me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, that's real talk right there.
Yeah. So,
and you know, as you progress now and you're making music and stuff like that, what's one of the first times that you started like getting some attention from your music?
First time I got some attention from my music. I remember I dropped my first track, Life, which was the first track I ever dropped on like all streaming platforms. And that was actually the day that Kawhi did the shot. So I was shooting that video and Kawhi did the shot. I was shooting the video the day he did the shot. And then I remember I was looking back at it and everybody was going crazy. But anyways, you know, I was on my grind. And I remember dropping that video, Life, after I dropped Get Busy. And just seeing the reaction of everybody. I remember a few radio stations hit me up, asking me to send them the track, the record, and I sent it to them. And still at that point, I still felt like, you know, I wasn't ready, because that's like dropping your first track doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I honestly would suggest to any artist, have at least like 6 songs ready. You know, not even. Have at least like 10 songs ready before you drop anything. You know, because you want to know exactly what your sound is. You want to know exactly like which one you want to drop first. What's the plan? What's the game plan? You know what I mean? The worst thing you can do to yourself is dropping one of your weakest tracks first, because first impressions is the most important.
Yeah.
You know, not saying that I dropped one of my weakest tracks first. I didn't. I actually dropped one of my best tracks first. Luckily. You know, I mean, I probably had like 6, 7 already, but I feel like I should have had 20 with the way, with where I want to be.
Yeah, because you want to also be prepared for when they ask for more.
100%. You know, so that's always a big thing.
Yeah, man. And, you know, through time as you're making music now, you've been able to collaborate with a few people. Yeah. Right? Tell me some of the people that you've collaborated with over time.
Well, shout out to Space Dread. He's the only person on my album, Cass Cray, on the song Justify. I've collabed with EB the MC. Great, amazing lyricist. If you haven't checked them out, EB the MC. He actually just did what the hell is that? He actually just made a music video called Magic with 6 at 6.
Okay, salute 6 at 6.
Yeah, 6 at 6 is in the video. Super funny, super sick video. And who else have I collabed with? Smytunes. Who else is I've been working with lately? I've been working with 10 Digits, working with Shadow. I've worked with SI. Worked with Doesn't Matter, It's Okay.
Okay.
Who else I've been working with recently? XL, the producer, but I'm one of the best producers in the city. Matt, who just got his track signed to Golden State Warriors record label. Yeah, with Fireman, the one that produced some tracks under Dunda. So these are all my producers, and it's just crazy how everyone's so connected. Charmy, obviously, I'm working with my sister. You know, Twy. You know, Twy is a great individual. So we got some tracks coming out. And, you know, that's really it. Like, Sunday. I got a track with Sunday.
Okay.
If you haven't checked him out, he's basically like our generation of The Weeknd. But I would never say that because he's his own person.
Yeah.
Amazing singer. And just an amazing crowd, you know. Shout out the Bartlett House. If you haven't heard about the Bartlett House, they're basically a group of individuals that it's like basically the ASAP Mob. Basically, the Odd Future of Toronto is the Bartlett House.
Okay.
Basically, the Bartlett House.
Nice.
That is them.
And even across the border, because you make a lot of moves and stuff like that. Who have you been able to make some networking with across the border and stuff like that?
Basically, yeah. I've worked with some of the people in YSL. Well, who else?
Including your family too, because your family, you're all of y'all getting around, man.
Well, that's the thing, you know. You gotta chase the dream. You know, the dream ain't gonna come to you. So, I'm out here. You know, been to Atlanta a few times. Might be going like sooner than later. You know, might be going tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big ups to OG Slime. You know, he's a huge supporter of me. Big ups to, you know, Hustle Gang, you know, supporting the fam, the team. Big ups to...
we were talking about somebody who has the same name as me too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shout out Friday.
Yeah.
You know, shout out Friday. So Friday, basically, his whole crew... I've all these guys went to church with me. Like these are guys that are like pastors' kids as well. Like we all went to church together. We all played instruments together. You know, Friday's been a hard worker.
Yeah,
you know,
and he's on the God Did
song. Yeah, he's on the God Did song, and it's crazy because you know his story himself of like where he came from, how hard he worked, and you know it's just beautiful to know that someone put himself out there to actually get to that level. And I can't lie, you know. Friday did inspire me a lot. He did inspire me a lot. You know, when you see somebody like that, in your past environment that you know in the circle that you grew up with, that literally has the same family mentality, has the same upbringing, has like similar things like that, and you know them to that extent, you know, you really start like thinking to yourself, like, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and literally, I think that was one of the reasons too I did the Rolling Loud thing. Because I was like, okay, Friday just dropped God Did with DJ Khaled, Lil Wayne, like Rick Ross, like Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, and I've been making music too. Like, where's my, and I'm never comparing myself to anyone, but I'm saying, where's my next step? You know, and you know him, he was taking those next steps. I remember like I see some of the stories he posts about how he used to pretend that he was part of the band of certain singers to get backstage to get a photo and meet them, to give them beats. Like, you know what I mean? That's some crazy stuff. Like you know,
sometimes you gotta finesse.
Sometimes you gotta finesse. Like that's risk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So big ups to Friday. You know, he deserves all the flowers right now. Shout out to Music Spirit. You know, shout out to William Stan. You know what I mean? William, big sick artist. You know, check him out from Philadelphia. You know what I mean? So it's just amazing seeing the team winning, seeing the family winning, seeing everybody winning. And I'm just proud to know that, you know, I'm coming up. Just like I told Drake, LeBron, and Chris Bosh, I'm the seventh God.
You're the seventh God.
The seventh God. I'm coming.
You in the back like, I'm the seventh God.
I'm the seventh God. And it was just funny, you know. That was my younger days, you know, where I knew I had the confidence and I just wanted to be acknowledged. Now I don't even feel like I need to be acknowledged because I put in the work for that to be heard. You know what I mean? So
yeah, man,
respectfully,
definitely.
you know, I wasn't in the right place to say that yet. But now I feel like I am who I say I am.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? So
KEMDILO gold in this
KEMDILO gold,
motherfucker.
motherfucker. Who the fuck you rocking with?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go, bro. Listen, you have such an interesting story, and I feel that you've probably picked up a lot of game over the years.
Yeah.
Right? What's one piece of thing what's one thing that a young KEMDILO would tell himself now?
And tell himself now.
I think I fucked up the way I worded that question.
It's okay, I get it.
But you know what I mean, though.
What would a young KEMDILO tell himself now? He would tell him, keep writing. Don't stop writing every day. Should be writing every day.
I guess what would you tell a young KEMDILO?
What would I tell a young KEMDILO?
Yeah.
I would tell a young KEMDILO that nothing will come easy, and everything that you're gonna get and everything that you're gonna want to get, you gotta be in a lane that no one else is. You gotta be in a lane that's your own so much that no one else can be compared to you. No one else is in that lane, and you are not comparing yourself to anyone else. You know, so you gotta be surrounded by that type of mindset to make sure that you are your own competition. And like it's as big as that. Like when people say you're your own competition, that is what they call a domain. And you know, I'm a big anime fan. You know, there's this thing called domain expansion. The thing called domain expansion is when you create an environment, you create a radius of space where you have full control.
Right.
So creating that full control over what you're doing will always follow you. So when you walk into the room and you have other big artists, you already have that domain of your energy. They will understand and feel you right off the bat. Creating like really harnessing that and making sure that whenever you walk into anywhere, that domain is felt in the way that you want it to be felt, in a positive way. You know, nothing's gonna come to you if it's negative. Nothing's gonna come to you if it's negative. A lot of people don't get that. You know what I mean? Like you can't come in the room with negative energy thinking you could get something positive. Like it's not gonna work like that, man.
And I had to make sure to write down, make sure you're your own competition. That's some bars right there.
1000%.
That's that. I'm going to make sure to name this episode that right there too. You know what I'm saying?
My own competition.
Even with like what you've been able to achieve now,
Yeah.
what do you think, what do you see as let me just make this straight.
Yeah.
There's never a full picture, right? There's always more to do. Once you reach the goal that you want, you're going to have other goals that you're going to want to get to.
Yeah.
But at least for like what you see as the full, I made it vision, what does that look like for you?
Now.
Where you're at right now?
100%.
Okay.
100%. And that took me a while to get there, you know? Because, you know, when you're chasing something, you never realize now is as important as the future. And like, to be honest with you, you know, like I've always been a huge fan of We Love Hip Hop. Huge
Thank
fan,
you.
you know what I mean? You guys have inspired me, you know, the way that you guys have taken care of the artists in the city and, you know, just giving them a voice. I was like, okay, damn, yo, one day I'm going to be on there and that's going to be a milestone for me. And look at me today. I'm here now. You know what I mean? Like, for me, it's like the journey is literally the best part. Cause I hear a lot of artists, I hear a lot of big people, they tell me like, once they get there, they don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And once they get there, once they get the paperwork, once they get the check, they have a lot of people asking them for money. The switch up is real. Like, you know, and, you know, thank God I had to learn the lessons I learned so that when the switch up does happen, it doesn't even feel like a switch up.
Yeah.
It just feels like, hey, I've been doing this. You know?
No, that's real talk right there, fam.
So, yeah.
No, man, I really enjoyed like learning more about your whole story. I feel that you have like a very insightful story that when people go back and listen to your music, it'll make even more sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you've come from a lot and you've been able to like stay shiny through it all, man.
Yeah, you got to, man. You know, if you leave yourself in the dirt, you know, you just gotta get piled upon, you know what I mean? So All I gotta say is you gotta keep shining, keep going. You know, stay limitless. You know, the album's called Limitless for a reason.
Yeah.
You know,
What's that reason?
What's that reason? Well, basically, like that reason itself. When I told, you know, LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Drake, I'm the seventh God, is because I'm limitless. Like, you know what I mean? The power that I have, the energy that I have, the energy that I put inside myself, the energy that I feel that I have, is gonna get there. It's not even gonna get there. It is already there.
Yeah.
You know? And if I had put limits on myself in terms of, oh, I can't make music because I don't have enough time throughout my day, or I'm too tired, or I'm too this, or I'm too that, oh, I have a girl, which I don't. Well, I have a girl and she's like taking too much of my time, you know. All of these things are limits, you know what I mean? There's people that just got a kid, like that just found out they have a kid, and they're basically working 3 times as hard they've never worked in their life.
Yeah.
And they're like, how am I doing this? Because they thought they were limited to doing it, and now they're limitless, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna do it. A lot of people say a kid changed my life. Music changed my life. Music is my kid. As much time and as much effort you're putting into developing a child, I'm developing my music.
Yeah.
You know? So I've already been in that I have a kid, so I have to change my ways mindset.
That's real talk right there, fam.
You know?
Yeah, man. Listen, bro, I like I said, I really enjoyed this conversation we had here. Give the people your social medias and anywhere where you want people to find you.
Yeah, you can find me at KEMDILO Gold or at KEMDILO, KEMDILO, KEMDILO. Check out my new album. My old album, Limitless. New album's on its way. What else? Shout out everybody. Shout out the fam. Shout out 10 Digits. Shout out We Love Hip Hop for having me on.
Yes, sir.
Shout out everybody I talked about. You know, you're all amazing people. Shout out Jersey Drake, you know, for putting on for the city. Shout out Ron Diaz for having an amazing movie called Bite of the Mango. Shout out the family. Shout out Space Dread for killing the visuals always. Shout out the Bartlett House. Shout out Open Concepts. Shout out, you know, shout out my mom. Shout out my dad. Shout out Sharmy, you know, legendary singer. Shout out Debbie as well. You know, Debbie was a big fan.
R.I.P. Debbie.
R.I.P. Debbie.
Yeah.
You know, she was a big fan, and I wish that she had gotten the help before, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really sad because, you know, when I met her, she was very nice, you know?
Yeah,
and,
man.
You know, all that rah-rah crazy stuff that you guys saw, she wasn't really like that. You know, she was actually a very nice person. And it's just sad because I wish that I got to see her grow and become better.
Yeah, man. Likewise, you know? Man.
So, you know, it is what it is. We got life right now, so keep on breathing, keep on living. You know, it can be taken at any time. So, without further ado, we love hip hop, baby.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We're going to end it like that, man. Big salute to KEMDILO in the motherfucking building. KEMDILO Gold.
Yes,
you know
sir.
What I'm saying? And big salute to our sponsors, Astro Pink. If you know, you know. Check them out on their website, myastropink.com. Or you could check them out on Instagram, astro_pink. And salute to Sovereign Selection, 70 Dundas Street East, right upstairs next to the Burrito Boys. Tell them that the We Love Hip Hop Boys sent you. You know what I'm saying? Discounts all day long. I'm going to take us out with this track here because we limitless in this motherfucker.
Yes,
you know what
sir.
I'm saying? Let's see what's going on here. Thanks
We
for
love
watching this
hip-hop.
video. Make sure to share this to a friend and make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. And make sure to subscribe to the We Love Hip Hop Clips channel for short clips from the podcast as well as short clips from interviews and clips of interviews before they drop on this channel right here. All right? So make sure to like, subscribe, and share this to a friend. Cheer!